Hi everyone, and once again, welcome back. I know it's a little lengthy journey, but now we're on the not almost, we're at the last station now. Last station in this journey is getting sign off. Even though we already achieved that part, but still formally we have to be close the things from the communicating perspective. Like in our phase of lifecycle management, we see that we have to be obtain the sign off. We have to be notify the customer. We have to get the requirements communicating to the customer. But when we do the communication, sometimes we forget. Maybe as a business analyst, I'm in hurry. I thought my work is to just get requirement and done it. So here we can say here, communicating requirement is an important aspect of the business analyst because the business analyst is working to bring the stakeholder to the common understanding. This stop, this halt, or this station is the last one, and maybe already we covered as I say. But still, few guidelines or few points we have to be notified, we have to be take care in this particular part. To facilitate this communication, the BA must be considered when and where communication need to take place. Formally, informally, over the email, in the meetings, kind of things we're going to be discussing. Okay, what communication approach is appropriate in each situation? And last, how each communication should be presented. A very much important point here, because as I said that due to and during your business or your development part or requirement gathering part, if you get some new requirement, how to communicate. This is the place where we have to be put little bit stress here. So now let's see what involves here. So let me take this little down and now it's clear. Yeah, okay. So documentation, community is important aspect which we already discussed. So documentation should be number one, correct. Number two, consistent. Number three, feasible. And number four, validated. When I say correct means all the information which has been mentioned in the document should be clearly. Don't try to be write very heavy words in your requirement document or sign off documents, which is need some dictionary to be get the exact meaning. Try to be keep it very simple and normal English word. Consistent. Internal consistency and external consistency. Both are required. It means I can say that none of the documents should be updated just due to some internal changes done or maybe due to some external changes. It should be done via proper control manner. Third one is feasible. The solution, the documentation which we are doing should be in the format of the possible within expected budget and the schedule. Because documentation is the part which companies actually sometimes charge as well. So it should be in the budget and in the proper schedule that okay, up to this time you are getting these particular things. And finally, the last one is validated. The requirement should be validated by the testing them against the system. So in the documentation, these 4 points should be covered very clearly. Otherwise, it can get a problem later on. Total 7 tasks a BA need to be done, a business analyst need to be done in this area. Number one, create a requirement communication plan. In the simple manner, if I say the requirement communication plan documents the intentions of a business analyst in the term of project communication about the requirement. The BA requirement or the BA documents organize how and when they will handle the requirement communication. Also, a BA plan and estimate the requirement communication needs. Number one, in the first step in the requirement planning, when you're doing the communication planning, because sometimes like if I take example, there's a module available in service now, major incident management. There's a tab, it's called the communication. So there's a task has been predefined that after 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, it can be done. So it means there's a planning already done. So in this point, we have to do a planning here. Number one, a BA determine how he or she will communicate with each stakeholder. Number one part. Number two part, a BA need to determine how best to receive the requirement information from the project stakeholder. I'm saying how to receive. The same thing go for the going back as well to be communicate. provide a basic set of expectations from the project meetings and the other communication. Because when I'm running a workshop, I should clear the phase. Okay, guys, this is what we have to be do. This is what I want to be achieved. Okay, when we are working on this communication plan, a BA need to be think each deliverable, like what need to be communicated and what is the appropriate delivery method. Who is appropriate audience? Sometimes we invite a lot of people in a single meeting, which is not required. When the communication should occur, weekly, bi-weekly, at the beginning, at the end, in the middle. Additionally, the BA should be aware of the stakeholder needs and constraint, that what information is required by which particular stakeholder. Everybody not required everything. That's why too. So we have to be thinking that what is required, what is not required, and to whom we are passing which information, which is be useful. Second task is manage the requirement conflict. Even though I said we discussed this part, but still a kind of a rephrasing, recovering, or the rearranging this part is that manage requirement conflicts. One stakeholder say I want X, one person say I don't want X. Then how do we handle that part? And this is a very, very, very common scenario happen in the workshop specifically. So in this part, what we have to do to acknowledge, address, and resolve any disagreement or the conflict the stakeholder must have for the requirement. Number one, when requirement must serve more than one stakeholder need, there may be conflict. The reasons why this happen. So let's say my wife says, okay, would you like to have a rice in the evening or not? I said yes, my son said no. It's a conflict now. Okay, so this is important. How this will be sorted out now. So requirement themselves could also be in a conflict due to ambiguity, heavy English words. I'm again insisting on this part because this is actually problem. Okay, so in this part, where requirement themselves could also be in a conflict where different but valid requirements from the different stakeholder cannot be met by the same solution. Someone say X, someone say Y. I know that I can achieve this, but not with the same solution. Then again, it's a conflict part here. All issues and the conflicts about requirement must be documented properly. A very important point. Again, we are the business analyst. Our main work is to document. If you don't write, you're gone. Write each and everything here. A BA will coordinate the resolution. It's not anybody else's responsibility, it's a BA responsibility to coordinate for the resolution, maybe by arranging different meetings, maybe by arranging different documents, maybe by arranging facts or figures or anything with a different stakeholder with the different timings, but it's a BA responsibility. The third task in the sequence called the determine appropriate requirement format. Important. In which format it should be sent out. So again depends, as we see in the previous few stations, we see that NowCreate is very useful. They're providing some formats, templates, formats, or I can say the formats as well. So you can use as it is, or if you want, you can design your own format, but it should be standard. It doesn't mean that I am a BA, so I'm using X format. He's BA in the same project, but using the Y format. It should be standard for everybody. So each requirement in this particular part, what have to be do? Requirements should be present in a format that are understandable. Number one. Number two, it must be clear, concise, accurate. It should not be like a lot of things you're putting in a single template. It's not like that. Each requirement that has been gathered, analyzed, and documented must be presented in one or more project stakeholder for the review. It means anything as a business analyst you are be writing, it should be put somewhere in the meeting so that everybody say yes, they're okay on that part. To make a review process and as efficient and effective, the business analyst should be present. Don't say, okay, on my behalf, this person will run the meeting. No, it's your company, it's your area. You have to do that part. And the last, this required business analyst throughout understanding of the each requirement. You cannot say this requirement is valid or not, or this is not written, or this is not written. If you're not present in the meetings, it is a loss for you. The fourth task in this sequence is called the create a requirement package. Important. Package means it's a bundle format, which can include some documentation, which can include some designing formats as well. But in this part, the business analyst work results in many deliverables. Maybe for one stakeholder, it's just a document. Maybe for technical team, I need to present or create the workflows as well. So For me as a BA, I am providing or I am giving the different deliverables to the different teams. So I should do a package sort of things on that part. Documenting requirement is complex process. Very true. Very clear, very true. It's a very complex part. Communicating the requirement is again a complex part, but it's a key success factor. If you're able to get or you're able to deliver the things which your stakeholder is looking for in a format manner, you've done your lot of the things. And again, the point raises when there's a misunderstanding of the requirement, it has a negative impact. So that is when you're creating a package, make sure everything should be signed off, documented properly. Now the fifth one is conduct a requirement presentation. Generally, we prefer to go for this kind of presentation. Once you've done your part as a business analyst, you get the requirement, you've done your design or solution is ready, you can go for this particular part. And the presentation objectives, number one, to review, prioritize, and communicate status. That guys, this has been discussed, this has been done, or this has been prioritized. To ensure quality and get the clarity if required. And getting the sign up for the buying. It is important. That is also, if you see in the workshop, always at the end of the workshop, there is a follow-up session. Just to make sure that what you told, what I understood should be clubbed together, merged together, and we have on the same page. There are some examples, like in this particular place, there are some examples of the documentation a BA need to be great. Maybe business requirement, that is called the BRS, FRS, data behavior model, process flows models, kind of things you can do. The second last step or the second last task is conduct a formal requirement review. Preferably go for this part. It should be a formal, maybe half an hour, maybe 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, but it should be a formal. Yes, everybody should come and they can do. And what is the purpose they are going to be served? Number one, it should indicate the completeness of requirement, that all the requirements have been captured properly. It says, or it removes any superfluous requirement which is not required, but still I mentioned it should be removed here in this particular area. Then if there is any ambiguity, it should be removed in this particular place. And the last, if any correction is required, it should be done. Plus, the purpose of doing this conduct formal requirement review, it tells us the scope, that what we discuss as per the scope or not. Feasibility of the requirements, and also last, prioritization of the requirement. And the last stop, the last task a BA need to be do here is called the obtain the requirement sign off. The last thing in our journey, which we started, that business analyst journey from planning and the sign off. So we started from the planning, now we're in the sign off. So in this particular part, when everything has been formalized, a BA get a formal sign off, a formal agreement. The purpose of why I'm using the word formal, it reduces the risk. That what you understand, what I told is everybody know about that part. What you documented, I'm agree on that part as a stakeholder. What I want to be achieved, you understand, and you are putting in this particular part here. So this is what the last stop come here. Even though I have nothing much to be discussed here in this part, let me see what we have on this particular area here. Maybe I can say you can conduct some surveys as well. If you are a business analyst, you want to do, maybe it's for the training evaluation. If you want to go for the requirement part, you can go for the surveys, that everything is went well or not. Generally, I can say this refinement and all the things will come here. This one, story refinement, estimating kind of things. It is a rework again and again, because if you're reaching here, also one more thing, you can put the user acceptance as well. Because you are getting a formal sign off, it means you are getting a user sign off. Maybe it's not from the story development perspective, not in the system, but still from our understanding perspective, we can link this thing here. Okay, and at last, you can note down some learnings, you can note down some exit phases here, and you can do that part. Okay, and last, if I come here, when we club our requirement journey with the now create, definitely it's going to be a success for us. This is what my point here. So with this, and here we reach at the end of the journey. We are on the last station at point of time, and before I close this session, or before we formally close this journey, let me thank to the community and all the learners and all the listeners who allow me to share my knowledge and experience. And thanks to my wife, Sisti, and my son, Athar, for their continuous support and motivation. Let me take a break now, and we'll see you soon in some other training on the Now platform. Until the time, keep learning, keep growing together, and stay hungry and stay humble. Bye bye and take care.